Alright everybody, and welcome back to another video, and welcome if you're new here. Today we are going to be doing something a little different. Today I want to compare the LC10 versus the AK74u, and we're not just going to go based off of opinion or feelings here. We're going to look at actual real statistical data, so that way we can get a better understanding of where these weapons lie as far as their rankings and their viability. And also I do want to point out some other things about the LC10 and why I've always previously said this, that the LC10 is going to be the new meta, which I think it already currently is. A lot of people are just sleeping on it right now. I'm basically going to show you why that is in today's video. So if you guys do enjoy this kind of stuff, make sure to leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. It'll show me this is the kind of content you want to continue to see. And also make sure to subscribe if you are brand new around here to make your way back to the channel for more Call of Duty content. The first thing I want to talk about here is the comparison of the AK74u stats versus the LC10 stats. Now, these are base stats. There are no attachments involved here. Damage is significantly higher on the AK74u at 38 and the LC10 at 30. The first damage range drop-off is 7.62 for the AK74u, while the LC10 is all the way up at 21 meters. So there is a significant gap here between these damage ranges. If you take a look at the fire rate, the LC10 clocks in at 800 RPM, whereas the AK74u clocks in at 697 RPM. So definitely another huge difference there. Now, the bullet velocity. So later on in the video, I'm going to show you something very interesting that I found that's a little bit broken with the 74u Liberator barrel. Definitely something going on, and I'm glad that I tested this out. So I was definitely dumbfounded. But anyways, one thing I do want to note about these bullet velocities is that these are the two highest bullet velocities as far as SMGs go. So as far as speed goes, they're pretty much identical here. There is a slight edge to the LC10. Now, the accuracy, this is also something I wanted to point out about the AK74u versus the LC10. Now, if you take a look at the 74u, the vertical and horizontal recoil control, there is a huge difference here versus the LC10. So I'm going to show you guys some recoil control clips here in a little bit. Now let's take a look at the stats when you do put on the most optimal attachments. So again, left is 74u, right is going to be the LC10. Now, the key main important thing about barrels in Cold War is that you want to put a barrel with the most bullet velocity possible, especially when it comes to these SMGs. So I've said this a million times, and we're finally going to be able to see why in this video through proof of why bullet velocity matters the most, especially when it comes to SMGs. So bullet velocity is basically the time it takes to travel from the weapon to your opponent. So if you have a bullet velocity that is at a lower range, then you're going to have a harder time killing your opponents because you're just getting hit markers or your shots are just not hitting. With the Liberator barrel on the 74u, we bumped that from 500 meters per second to 1000 meters per second. And then, like I said, I think this attachment is bugged, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. Now, the LC10, it goes all the way up to 820 meters per second from its previous 410. So nearly doubled here. Literally becomes a pocket assault rifle at this point, especially because of this amazing accuracy that you're going to get with the LC10. And this is why it's overpowered. It's just more practical to use for most people, and you could beam people from long range with it. It's got incredible fire rate. It's got incredible bullet velocity. And also later on in the video, we're also going to take a look at how it compares to assault rifles in the game. And that's the main reason why this LC10 is broken. Now I want to take a look at the recoil patterns here on both the LC10 versus the 74u. Now, what you're about to see is just absolutely mind-blowing. And keep in mind, I'm not trying to control the recoil whatsoever, and these are with the optimized attachments, by the way, because, you know, it's just not practical for people to use weapons without attachments, right? So like I said, I am not trying to control the recoil whatsoever, right? And I'm going to do it again one more time just to make sure I'm not like seeing things. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is literally without having to control the recoil. I just let the gun fly, and look how tiny the diameter is of the bullet spray pattern. It's just crazy. Anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 74u. And again, this is just not controlling it at all. This is with attachments that do control the recoil. All right, there's one. All right, and you know, it's pretty obvious here which gun has the better recoil control. And, you know, as you can see, this goes all over the place. All right, so next we're going to check out the bullet velocity of the LC10 versus the AK74u. Which gun basically beams better from long range? Obviously, the short answer is going to be the LC10 from what we've seen as far as recoil control. And also, we know that the AK74u, it has some pretty good recoil control. But, you know, if you're going to be beaming someone from extremely long range, like you're going to see here in this clip, then it's not going to be as viable. And why? Like I said, the LC10 is just so much better than the 74u. All right, so keep in mind, this is recorded at 65 meters out. That is the distance between myself and the target. And we're going to be looking at the 45 here. We're going to wait. As soon as it turns to 44, that's when we're going to start counting the time it takes to travel to hit our target. So instead of just letting it play, because the clip is so short here, I'm just going to go ahead and use my keys here. All right, there it is. Wait, let's back up. There, bam. 0.017. Write that down. Now we're going to keep waiting. We're going to keep scrolling through here. And I've done the math already, by the way, but I'm just showing you guys for demonstration purposes, you know, how I figured this out. So we're going to wait for a hit marker. Tapping, I'm tapping, I'm tapping. Still nothing. Still, there it is. Back up. Boom, right there at 150. So if you do the math, 150 milliseconds minus 0.17, you're going to get 149.983 milliseconds, as you can see right here is where I marked it. So that is without the barrel. Now let's take a look at what it looks like with the barrel on for bullet velocity. All right, so this is the Ranger barrel. It's going to give you 100% bullet velocity. This is at 820 meters per second. Okay, so like last time, we're going to wait for that to turn to 44 rounds. There it is. Let's back up. Boom. 234 milliseconds. That's when it starts. It's traveling, traveling, traveling. There it is. Boom. 317. 317 minus 234, you get 83 milliseconds. So that is a huge improvement from 149 to 83 milliseconds. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the bullet velocity of the 74u, and we're going to see something pretty broken here in a little bit. But also keep in mind, this is without the barrel on the 74u, so this is stock bullet velocity at 500 meters per second. So there it is at 39. It is at 450. There's that hit marker right there, 534, 534, 534 minus 450. Let's see what it is. That is 84 milliseconds. So this is just incredibly strange to me, because if the bullet velocity is 500 meters per second on the stock AK74u with no barrel, how is this nearly the same as the LC10 with the Ranger barrel, which increases its bullet velocity to 810 meters per second? So I really don't understand this. Maybe, you know, some of you guys in the comments can clarify this or whatever, what's going on here. But this is definitely very confusing. Now, it gets even worse. So this is the 74u with the Liberator barrel, which is going to increase that bullet velocity to 1000 meters per second. Sounds amazing, right? So let's check this out. All right, so it starts off right here, 634. Keeps going, going, going. There's that first hit marker. Let's back up. Okay, 717 minus 634. It takes 83 milliseconds to hit the target from 65 meters out with and without a barrel. So this has to be a bug. Like, do you guys follow what I'm saying here? This is just really confusing to me. Why use a Liberator barrel when it says 1000 meters per second, but it's actually still hitting its target at the same rate as you would with no barrel on it whatsoever? This definitely has to be a bug in the game, because this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The Ranger barrel on the LC10 definitely changes the game as far as bullet velocity goes when you're trying to compete from long range, and it's definitely going to give you a competitive edge versus a 74 user at that range. Even if it takes the same amount of time for your bullet to travel from you to your target, you're still going to be winning that gunfight because it's 65 meters out. Do you really think you can beam somebody 65 meters out with a 74U? Absolutely not. Let's be real here. But you can definitely do that with the LC10. All right, so here we have a spreadsheet of all the time to kills and all the other stats as well. And if you guys are curious about this weapon stat sheet, I will leave a link down below in the description so you can take a look at it for yourself. So anyways, we have the LC10 down here, and we have the range values as well. So task force is going to increase it to 32 meters, but we're not going to worry about task force barrel here. We're just strictly focused on the time to kill. So time to kill is going to be 300 milliseconds at range. So this means at 21 meters, it's going to be 300 milliseconds. Now beyond that, it's going to be 375 milliseconds for a time to kill, anything beyond 21 meters. Now for the 74U, 7.62 meters is the first damage range drop off, and its time to kill is 258 milliseconds. All right, obviously, from a statistical standpoint, up to 7.62 meters, 74U is definitely going to win, right? Versus the LC10. Now, anything beyond that, your time to kill is still going to be a lot higher at 344 milliseconds. What I was trying to say was anything beyond 7 meters, the LC10 is going to beat the AK74U because it has a 300 millisecond time to kill up to 22 meters, whereas the AK74U, after that 7 meters, its time to kill goes all the way up to 344 milliseconds. So the LC10 is definitely the superior gun from mid-range up and beyond. All right, so this is where you need to pay attention very closely because this is why the LC10 is 100% broken. You should not be able to defeat an assault rifle at long range with an SMG. You should not be able to destroy someone using an XM4 or an AK-47 up out to like 50-60 meters out. You know, that's just not supposed to happen. Also, the recoil control is definitely worse on these assault rifles, whereas the LC10's recoil control is just absolutely incredible. So just think about it this way. It's a mini assault rifle with absolutely insane recoil control and crazy time to kill at long range. So I'm gonna just leave the video at that. This is kind of a video I've been trying to work up to for the longest time. You know, people just seem to love the AK74U, and I was one of those people, don't get me wrong, but I think more people need to show the LC10 love. It's definitely the most versatile, well-rounded submachine gun in the game, and I definitely do foresee a nerf on this gun because, like I said, it just shouldn't be competing at long range like that. You know, there definitely needs to be a nerf to the LC10. But anyways, if you guys like these kind of videos where I just kind of get all serious and, you know, classes in session type of vibe, you guys like, you know, learning all the stats and stuff, you know, let me know down below in the comments. This is actually something I used to do a lot back in Modern Warfare. If you guys are still following me from Modern Warfare, I did a lot of these stat breakdown and testing videos. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know. What kind of guns do you want to see next? And yeah, make sure to leave a like. I'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you're brand new to make your way back. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go, baby. Use code TURBO at gameradvantage.com if you want to get some swaggy blue light blocking glasses like this. And also, if you want to go outside, you can still protect your eyes just by doing something as simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, get yourself a pair at gameradvantage.com. Let's go, baby. Link down below in the description for more information.